we're just now getting 3 days off. We're just getting done. We're just getting started as a team.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in Cairo and I was seeing teams playing friendlies. There were tournaments that were playing.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
Been checking
so,
on the websites of different teams,
yeah.
and they've had like 4 friendly matches.
Yeah, and you saw how the US prepared for, of course I can't compare ourselves to US, but you saw how those teams, even Nigeria.
Good afternoon. The show is Slam Dunk Basketball. My name is Felix Eupal. It is a show whereby we discuss, dissect the beautiful game of basketball. So many things have been happening. In studio today, I have 2 gentlemen who are representing us on our national teams, and they will be introducing themselves later in the show. I'm with my co-host, Emmanuel Ateng. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Felix.
A lot is happening in locally and internationally.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for basketball. You know, when the lockdown came, we thought that nothing was going to happen in basketball. But yeah, it's an exciting time. Looking forward to the Afro Basket that will be starting next week, and with the under 16 that just concluded. So yeah, really expecting a lot.
Yeah. Remember, we are live on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on our website, houseoftalentug.com. Gentlemen, thank you for honoring Slam Dunk Basketball with your valued time. Please introduce yourself so that you do the honors.
My name is Yuhi Richkeri. I am captain of the U16 Silverback national team.
Okay.
And I've been playing basketball for a long time, ever since I was around 9.
Okay.
And I took an interest in basketball when I started watching TV and watching LeBron and everybody. But then it started becoming a big thing for me when I realized how passionate basketball as a sport is. And then we're meeting great people, great coaches like my coach, Coach Ronnie.
Okay.
And yeah, I just kept on playing and working as hard as I
Thank
can.
you for representing the junior Silverbacks. We'll be getting into that discussion later in the show of how everything was. So, to our viewers out there, both here in Uganda and others who are watching in the diaspora.
My name is Mutebi Ronnie. I'm the coach for the junior Silverbacks, boys under 16. And I also assist with the under 18s.
Assist with the under 18s.
Yes, sir.
And you are also a coach of Warriors basketball team.
Yes.
Last time I checked.
Yes,
I don't know,
very
you can update us on the current situation.
Yes, I'm still the head coach of Chambogo Warriors Basketball Club. I think it's one of the biggest clubs in Uganda. If I'm not mistaken, the biggest.
Which did not register for the current league, which is at the moment on a halt.
Yeah, given the conditions, yeah, because it was really a call of life against fun. So we had to choose. Priority is life. As Warriors, we value lives, and we didn't want to risk, given the situation we are in as a country.
We had that discussion with Emma, according to the manager of Warriors basketball, which information was relayed that it was an issue of COVID, but however, other teams were taking part. The former players of Warriors were also being signed and actually playing on other teams. So it didn't make a lot of sense.
And taking in consideration, because you guys told us that it was a situation of you need to protect the lives of your players. Which same players were playing pickup games, they were, moving out here and there. So I don't think it was a valid reason actually telling us that you have to protect your players. There must have been something else on the inside that none of the people in the Warriors, committee really wants to tell us. Was there something else that pushed you guys not to register? Because it puts you in a bad spot
Yeah.
You know, when we return next year with the league, will you be relegated? Will you crawl your way back into the eight? How does it work?
First, as a federation, they sent out the notice that you are free to play or not to play. Then, because basketball, you know, okay, Warriors, according to Warriors, it's a family team, and we consider families first.
Yeah.
So we talked to all the players that were available, and we told them our decision and our fears, given that most of us are exposed, and we travel a lot and we know what's happening out there. So we told them our stand as management. But however, we gave them chance to, they are free to do what they want because these are adults. We told them if you want to go, you can go. If you want to play pick up, you can pick up, but at your own cost. Yeah, but as a club and management, we chose to take one stand, and that is to protect the players. Because by then, by that time, there was no vaccine, there was no nothing. So we didn't think it was, looking at if you look at the opportunity cost and you weigh, the risk was a bit great. Yeah, of course, you know, players always get stubborn and all that. They want to continue playing, which you can't avoid. But as management, because when a player gets sick, or God forbid the player dies, they will not say a player was playing pickup, they will say Warriors. And you are liable as a club and management. So you look at the underlying expenses and costs, then you're like, you know what? For now, let's take a break. I mean, it does nothing. And I think, based on what's happening now, I think we took a wise decision because even the teams that had begun are not playing anymore. Okay, so as much as the players really wanted to play, as much as everyone else was doing, we don't do things according to everyone else. We do things according to what our conscience tells us. And at that moment, as management, we're all in the same vote, and we said protect the players first.
Okay. Hopefully we shall get back to the Warriors discussion later on. To Yuri, the captain of the Junior Silverbacks. Welcome back from Cairo, first of all, and it was an experience which I believe has both sides of the coin. Please, to our viewers, explain how was it down there?
Well, that's for me and for most of the people on our team, the toughest competition we've had to come up against. So it was not so much a surprise, but a hard hitter when we arrived there. And the first game, we were a bit scared, but then towards the later stages, we started gaining confidence as a team, and then we started getting stronger. And I feel like it's taught us that Uganda may not be the biggest country in basketball, but because we have heart, we can fight.
Because we have heart. That's a very good statement, Emma. Don't you think? Heart, attitude, those are some things that actually I believe even Coach Ronnie will not be able to instill in the players.
There's some things that in basketball we say you can't teach people some things. You can't teach someone how to have heart. You can't teach someone how to hustle. Those are things that come from within. Okay, those are things that are going to set you apart from other players. And coming from you is saying that, you know, those are things that, it was a baptism by fire basically, you know, watching your first game. All of us were in shock at what was happening, but like you said, it's a good experience. It actually showed you guys where you range according to, you know, other players in Africa. But what I want to get from you is, after that first loss, okay, what was the situation like in the under-16 camp? I know some tears must have been shed, some guys must have second-guessed their talent or something like that. So what was the experience for you guys after that first loss, after that first game?
Well, in the first game, we were prepared to fight. And then as they took us on, and as he said, it was a baptism of sorts. We didn't take the loss so badly. Because as a team, we needed to move on, and we needed to forget the past, the loss, and we needed to be together and be strong. Because there was no other way we would continue in the tournament if we were looking at our losses. So after the game, there was no tears shed. We came together as a team and we said we're going to work together, work better as a team. And that was our mindset, and that's how we moved on throughout the tournament.
And I think that showed, you know.
Yeah, definitely, because like I said, they grew in the tournament. Mr. Mutebi, preparations for getting the Junior Silverbacks there. there was a lot of talk on social media from various people, some of them being actually very harsh, some being a bit sympathetic, others being hopeful, others actually commenting that the team did not have any business going down there. Preparation-wise, how was it?
Very tough, I must confess. The initial stages, we had a plan as a national team committee, junior national team committee. We did a bit of trials, went to schools. From last year, we've been scouting. Even before the lockdown, we tried to reach out to the coaches. I don't know if Eti remembers, we sent out communication to all the available pages and told the coaches, because we can't know everyone, but we know, through knowing coaches, we know the coaches, and we can always get to them. So we tried to reach out to coaches, and everyone presented who they thought was their best. And by January this year, which was, I think, towards our last trials, we had a team of, we first had a team of around 70 boys at KIU. We did
70?
Yes.
That's a huge number. How did you zero down to the final 12
So
from 70?
There were 70, we were around 6 coaches. I chose a group of 6 coaches I worked with, independent of my decision. And of course with the technical director, inclusive. So we chose around 40 boys. So we had another trials. We had other trials at City Parents, City High, sorry. And according to the attendance, there was still about 40. We thought there would be 40, they still thought us. We had to reduce the number to 20. Even after doing the final 20, they still sent us some boys we thought were good. For example, I'd never seen Omara Emmanuel. They told me he's there, but he's in Ngulu, he can't come. So the people who had seen him, I based on the words of the coaches who told me, actually, this boy is way better. He's tall, he's this, he can do this, can do this. I watched a few of his workouts and we were okay. And then there are some other kids who came around, of course. So we tried to make it competitive, but under circumstances, it was hard because we don't have a basketball arena that we can use and say this national team, or this is for the federation. So we had to always bench on individuals to help us. So towards 3 months to the competitions, we did our final trials of the final 25 actually. It became 25.
Final 25.
Yes.
Now you narrowed it down from 70 to 40
to 25. And now we're sure. And most of the guys I went with recently were not actually there. They were half of, I think he was one of the finalists. But most of the kids who I went with to Egypt were not part of the final 25. So the challenge was documentation. We try to file in, we try to, but the response is always low. So there's a lot of politics. This one doesn't have a birth certificate, this one doesn't have this. Then also we got the communication that there's no money. So there was no motivation. And as an individual, I can't take on a team and take it to camp. Then there was a bit of a lockdown also, because I thought maybe 2 months to the event I can try to get guys.
Work with the numbers that you have and work on a few things. Because
you can tell parents sacrifice, but there was no one. And there's no way they could move. Yeah, so it became a bit risky.
What main attributes were you looking for from the players that you were sieving out to make your final cut?
I've been following the continental competitions. And I remember my first experience was in Rwanda, and we used to think we were better than Rwandese, but the under 16 of Rwanda was way better than us and we were bigger. So I looked at size, first of all, and athleticism, but also competitiveness. And like I told you, some bit of hustle, because it's one thing to be tall and do that, but when you can't hustle.
Without putting that energy down there on the floor.
Exactly, so yeah. And then because you also have to know the type of basketball we play in Uganda is mainly transitional basketball and all that. So we know, like every country has its own kind of identity, and that's for Uganda. We shoot and then we run. So I kind of looked for that. But basing on what we finally got, some were there, some were not. And it was short notice, so we had to look for who has a passport, who has a birth certificate, who is available. There are some people who even called and sent messages, and up to now they haven't read them.
they haven't responded to
exactly.
Them. That is quite
so it is
yet we're in a digital era.
To some extent, we can put the blame on maybe the coaches, maybe the management, maybe the players themselves, maybe the parents, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like, we can't be, by all this should have been done a year ago, like other countries.
Yeah.
But again, we can't use our personal money because it requires money. I can't have basketballs. I need someone to provide for me.
Yeah, you need transportation to get
I need
there
transportation.
to and from and everything.
Even the players themselves, some of them can't afford. They tell you, coach, we need this, we need water, we need transport, shoes. So it has been a task, and I know the current administration of FUBA is focused on grassroots, and I'm happy because when we give them our grievances, they consider, they're trying to consider, and I think that's why they push for us to go. Yeah. Despite the fact that we didn't stand a chance, but what matters most was the experience, because we can't keep waiting till we have the best team.
True.
Yeah. But what matters is, do we believe that? Because we do believe that we shall get there, and if we shall get there, even the Malis you see now, they used to be beaten. Those days,
Mali, Algeria, they were playing way different type of basketball.
Those days, Angola was
we watched
dominant.
with Emma and was telling me, look at how they are moving the ball.
Exactly. And you'll be shocked, even Nigeria is not there. Yet Nigeria used to dominate Angola. Morocco used to dominate. But it's just a starting step. We need to always take a step. And it was the first time for Uganda. We need to take it. Either way, someone had to go.
To Yuri, the junior Silverbacks, you weren't able to make it to the semi-finals, just like the Gazelles. What are the main lessons, three main lessons that you picked out from that trip down there to Cairo?
I think one is that a team is made up of everyone. There's no leader because we all work together. Of course, there's someone who has to be captain, but as a team, everybody is on the same level. And if you look at it differently, then relationships get broken and there are problems within the system. So if you work together as a team and you have chemistry and you all respect each other, then on the court, it's the same exact thing.
Okay, so it transcends to the court.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, sometimes it's not about how you feel, but about how the coaches feel.
Explain that further to me. How the coaches feel.
For example, if you don't think you're doing well enough and they keep playing you, the coach has a reason for everything he's doing.
But you're not feeling that you're good enough, but the coach is playing.
Exactly. And then you start to realize that it's not exactly about you not scoring or not passing the ball, but about you gaining the experience and them trying to teach you what to do next, how to play better. And yeah, you also have to play with your heart completely.
When you go out, you go out. You have to be like a soldier.
You can't go there with a mindset of, I've already made it, as Coach Badger said. You can't go out there with a mindset of saying, I've already made it. You have to go there saying, I need to make it.
Interesting ideas there and lessons that were picked up. It is Slam Dunk Basketball. We're discussing the FIBA Under-16, which was just concluded in studio. We are with the captain of the Junior Silverbacks, Yuri Ruchikaire. I think I'm pronouncing it right. We're with Coach Ronnie Mutebi and Emma Teng. We'll return after this short break. Welcome back to the second part of the show. We are discussing the Under-16, and in studio we're with the captain of the Junior Silverbacks, Yuri Ruchikaire, plus Coach Ronnie Mutebi. So you're telling me and telling the viewers out there about the experiences and what you learned and what should be done going forward.
Yeah. Well, going forward, I feel like we should have more of a preparation as a country. If we are going to be able to compete with countries which have been training for a year, then we should not have only 2 weeks of training or even less.
Or even less. Emma, 2 weeks of training versus a nation that has been training for a year.
I mean, it's like we always keep saying, it's a Ugandan thing, okay? Even with the preparation for the Silverbacks, Afrobasket, how how much time did we actually put into getting to Rwanda?
So many things. We're going to give our viewers an update of what is happening down in Kigali later in the show. But still, most people, that is why their views online are that the teams shouldn't actually have traveled. But which, in my opinion, was a very disservice. You know, fans will always be very emotional.
Yeah, true.
But the most important thing was that we were able to go down there, and some lessons were picked.
Yeah, I remember.
And 18 is just around the corner.
It's around the corner. There's also, I think, 3-on-3 somewhere in September. And yeah, I remember the first time I also played the under-18. It was a really good experience. We also, you know, kind of got into that baptism of fire kind of thing, and you know, we took lessons from there. And just these guys going there and, you know, just taking part, seeing, because like he said, as soon as he came back, went straight to the gym, started working out. Okay, and
which is actually very good.
Yeah,
so
it's a good thing.
Body running.
So when you go out there, those are the things you see. You know, you actually see that you're very unprepared to face certain situations when it comes to basketball. So them coming back and starting to work out is a really good thing. It shows a positive move, you know, for our players on a personal basis, because sometimes you can't really wait for a coach, you know, to get you on the move. All right, so it's a good thing that you're working out. I hope, you know, your other guys are also working out. You being the captain, I think you really have to keep checking on these guys, because you guys are the next under 18. All right, it's not a miracle that other guys, okay, a few guys will come in here and there, but we expect the under 16s to basically graduate into, you know, the under 18, under 21,
and then go
to
the
national team
senior side.
So I don't think you guys have to wait for coaches. The coaches are there; they will do their part, but certain things can only be done by the player themselves. So it was a good experience for you guys, I believe. And hearing from what you've said, I'm glad that you guys are back in the gym working out there.
Before we get into the discussion over from basketball, the league is just around the corner. It's going to resume. Which local team would you want to play for, or have you ever wished to play for locally here?
Well, I'm not very sure. City Oil is always the.
Oh, City Oil.
Yeah.
So you want to affiliate with the record champions?
Yes.
Very good, very interesting pick. I thought you were going to say Falcons. Emma is a Falcon forward. Yeah, but their team was losing. They are running it down. It's bottom of the table.
But it's like asking someone nowadays of this generation, which team do you want to join? I guarantee 8 out of 10 will say the Golden State Warriors. So City Oil is like the Golden State Warriors of Uganda now.
Well, most of them would actually say Lakers, since now they have a powerhouse.
Or Russell Westbrook and all this.
Yes, definitely. They broke the bank, and everyone is waiting for one thing: will they be healthy? That was the discussion. Can have the players then towards the post-season. They're not healthy enough.
Actually, health is one of the smallest concerns for me. But how are LeBron and Westbrook and Carmelo going to work together? You know, all these are guys who want the ball. They are all leaders in their own, you know, making. So
remember that joke of the tweet thing that the NBA should allow them to use 2 balls. one ball for Russell, the other ball for LeBron.
That's what it's going to reach. But the amazing thing also is that, you know, LeBron is one of the leaders in assists. And Westbrook is also the same, one of the leaders in assists. Okay, so there's also that joke that, you know, they'll start passing the ball to themselves so they can pad their stats.
It's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Finally, we got the senior Silverbacks down to Kigali. Today is actually when the isolation ended. Remember, every team that had to go there had to first be put in isolation, and so many things have been happening. The National Council of Sports was finally able to deliver a portion of the money, 330 million. I would request our producer to actually put up that image for our viewers out there to see. Remember, we are live on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on our website, House of Talent Uganda. Emma, what did you think of that image that is on the screen? The money from Dr. Patrick Egwell being delivered in a sack.
You know, first I thought someone had actually just photoshopped the sack and put it there.
How, at this particular level and this stage, National Council of Sports has a bank account. The Federation of Uganda Basketball Association has a bank account.
Yeah.
Why is the money being delivered in a sack?
I wonder. I was talking to you and I was like, they would have at least printed a dummy check, and that's what they present to us. You know? But it coming in a sack, I mean, it just shows the level where we are at. To give a national team money in a sack, I mean, how low can we get?
Definitely,
You
because
know,
when it
how
comes,
low?
and we're talking about professionalism, we're talking about getting to a different level.
Yeah.
We're in a group which is actually very tight. I would definitely say the group of death.
Yeah.
We kick off with Senegal, and the money is coming at the 11th hour.
Yeah.
You know, and it's also being delivered in a rudimental way. In a rudimental way. So I don't know what Coach Ronnie's view is on that particular matter, since he's on the junior side of managing the national team.
Actually, there's a common saying that when you keep on doing what you do, you always get what you have always gotten. So if we keep in this way, thinking this is Uganda, we're going to be getting the same results. Okay, it's unfortunate that had to happen. They had their reasons. I know both gentlemen. I know both the president, Mr. Nasser Serojoji. He's a very good gentleman. I know Dr. Guel is also distinguished. So under the circumstance, I'm trying to ask myself what was going on. So
you're wondering what could have happened.
What could have happened?
But these are two elite people,
Yeah.
outright citizens.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they do it differently?
Exactly. But again, basing on what was taking place, because I was not around, so I can't really criticize them that much. I didn't like the fact that it was like that, but also they had their reasons. So I'll give it. But my disappointment is always in how we handle our things. Someone out there has to step up, and we change the way we're doing our things. Not just the money, but preparation and all that. Because it's unfortunate that we're just now getting 3 days off. We're just getting done. We're just getting started as a team. I mean, I was in Cairo and I was seeing teams playing friendlies. There were tournaments they were playing.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
Checking
so-
on websites of different teams,
Yeah.
and they've had like 4 friendly matches.
Yeah, and you saw how the US prepared for, of course I can't compare ourselves to US, but you saw how those teams, even Nigeria, they prepared for the Olympics. They went to another country, they played friendlies, the same team. So in a way, we want to achieve in a shortcut, using a shortcut, but we don't want to do the hard hustle.
Yeah.
So what my thoughts are, someone out there has to step up and we change. Either it starts now or we're going to continue getting the same results.
We will be playing a short video from our team manager, Mr. Grace Kwizera, who's down there with the team. Traveled with Albert Ahabwe, who's the team assistant. This time round we have Brian Tuka and Emanzi Ndiamahji on behalf of the media to relay what is happening. And latest communication is that all the other players are in camp except for Ishmael Wainwright, yeah, Deng and Arthur Kaluma, who will be the final 3 joining the team later on before our first game against Senegal. What is your take on Adam Seiko, our new debutant on the team? I believe now you've watched, I think, 2 or 3 videos of the guard.
Yeah. Remember, we're talking about how we saw Adam Seiko in high school. Yeah, and by that time he was a small guy, kind of scared of school and all this. I remember he left school at a certain point because conditions were harsh. And seeing him now, he has really put on some muscle, which is really good for a basketballer. And I watched a couple of his videos. Very good guard, standing at 6. For a guard, that is really going to help Uganda as a team. And I think he's bringing all that experience from the States, playing in the NCAA and also playing in different tournaments. He has a different kind of basketball that will fit so well with Ishmael Wainwright, with Arthur Kaluma, so
Karen Ziwa.
So it's really going to be exciting to see Uganda play a different kind of basketball. Because like Coach said, our identity is basically transition. Even when you watch the league, Uganda is transition basketball. But these guys have a different way they play their basketball in the States. It's more of shooting, it's more of different sets and all this. So it's going to be exciting to see how these international guys are going to gel with the Ugandan players. So we're going to have a mix of transition basketball, then also set basketball. which I think is going to take many teams by surprise.
Remember, the team traveled down there without actually having a training session.
Yeah.
Every player has been working out differently. Coach Reni Mutebi,
Yes, sir.
Uganda as a nation, the senior Silverbacks, when you look at the group that we're in, Senegal, South Sudan, Cameroon, our biggest disadvantage is the size.
Yes.
They have more size than us. In a technical point of view, what would be your approach?
First and foremost, pressure. We need to play pressure defense. We need to be aggressive as a team. As from the moment we start. If you look at the game that gave us the qualification against Morocco, we kept pressure on the ball, and it kept the Moroccans out of sync. So the same going to I've watched the South Sudan playing. Their guards are manageable. They're tall, they're good, but under pressure, they're manageable. So the first thing we need to work on is pressure. Secondly, like I said, like Eti said also, transition. We can't run away from transition. Okay? Otherwise, if we find a set defense, it's going to be hard for us to beat. Yeah.
Yuri, just before the show, we're having a brief discussion, and you have ambitions of joining the senior Silverbacks team. Which player on the Silverbacks team do you look up to? Which player inspires you and why?
Jimmy Anabo.
Jimmy Anabo. Oh, the captain.
Yes, the captain.
Oh. So a captain is also inspired by a captain,
Yes.
since both of you are captains. Interesting. Okay. What inspires you about Jimmy Anabo?
I feel like Jimmy Anabo is a very hard worker, and he's come from a very long. It's been a very long process until he came to the national team, and he's a powerhouse. He's generally energetic, he's strong, and he's a great leader. I think as a captain of the national team, so I think I look up to Jimmy Anabo so that I can have those traits.
Okay.
And when I make it.
Look up to Jimmy Anabo, and he also plays for City Oil. So you also just told us that yes, we will be having the video of our national team manager Grace Kwizera talking about what is happening down in Kigali, and how well prepared on how the team is actually setting up for everything to happen. The national team still has a debt, and they're still looking for money. We're actually running on a shoestring budget. What should be done, in your view, so that we don't go through the same circle over and over again? Whenever it comes to national team duty, the wallet is empty. We are running. They are running. The president himself, Nasser Seronjojo, told you that they had to look for money lenders to actually bail out the team. What should be done?
I think we should start car washes 2 years before. Yeah, but I think it's an issue of planning, basically. Okay, I think FIBA has a whole calendar that runs the course of time, so you'll always know what's going to happen. Okay, so we need to plan ahead. Okay, say we have let's say the September tournament, or we have a tournament in January. Okay, there's a budget for sports. All right, and I think that each sport is allotted a certain amount of money. All right, so we shouldn't really wait till the last moment to start saying that we need to give money to the national team. All right, so there should be a specific budget to the Ministry of Sports and Education. There are certain sports that are growing. Okay, football is always given the biggest part of the cake. Okay, but basketball is on the rise. Okay, we should put some more money into basketball. That is on the government side. But on the other side, I believe that we also have well-wishers, players who played on the national team. We have guys who went out and are still there. These guys can actually chip in, because at the end of the day, the national team is ours. We are Uganda. Okay, we can't all the time bash the federation or bash MCS because there is no money. If you can dig into your own pocket and give something to the national team, if you can support them with uniforms, if you can support them with basketballs, different things that they need as a national team, why can't we do that? Okay, I believe that even other teams in other countries actually do that. So what part of the government we should style up and plan? The other part on other players, other stakeholders, like the guys who assisted the under 16. We shouldn't wait for that situation. So we can all help. Let's put our hands together and help so that we avoid such a situation. It's bad for the press.
It is Slam Dunk Basketball Talk, and we're discussing the beautiful game of basketball, Afro basketball, which is just starting next week. Remember, the Silverbacks are going to be representing. We're in a group with Senegal, Cameroon, and South Sudan. We'll return after this short break with your views, your comments. Welcome back. It is Slam Dunk Basketball and we're discussing Afro Basketball, the under 16. In studio, I'm with the captain of the Junior Silverbacks, Yuri Richikaere, Coach Ronnie Mutebi, who is the head coach of the Junior Silverbacks, and Emmanuel Aten. We're discussing Afro Basketball.
Yeah.
What should and shouldn't be done, and Coach Ronnie was giving us some of an insight since we have a size disadvantage with the teams that we're up against in our group.
Yeah. Like I always say, for us as the Ugandan team, size is a very big issue because we're going against teams like Senegal, we're going against teams like South Sudan. I think, you know, the average height is about 6'5", okay, which is not the case with us, you know, even inclusive of our international players, you know. Basically, we are smaller. So at a certain point, good thing we play transition basketball, but at a certain point, we have to play small ball, okay, basically, okay, because we don't have that support of the very big men and all this. So we're going to rely so much on small ball, which means our guards are going to work overtime, you know, our forwards are going to have to work overtime. And it worked for us when we played against Morocco in the qualifiers, and I think it's something that is still going to work for us more and more. And like Coach said, the emphasis should actually be on defense. For a team like us, if we play defense, I believe that the offense will actually work out itself, you know, because good defense equals good offense. So that's what we should really focus on.
That's what we should focus on. What other approach, Coach Ronnie Mutebi, do you think should be taken?
Besides what he had said, I think we also need to be ready to shoot the ball. It's hard to score points inside against a team like South Sudan and Senegal and all those. We need to really be able to shoot that ball.
And to be able to shoot the ball.
Yeah, but also at one point I feel, looking at South Sudan and Senegal and Cameroon, when I saw the first games they played, they didn't really shoot that well from the three-point line. So I would feel, as much as they put in the pressure, we can also go into a zone to help us on the rebounding end, because they really can't shoot outside. They shoot, but not as much as they do inside. So we need to first of all work on our shooting from the perimeter, but also play a kind of a zone that protects us in the paint to be able to rebound over those guys.
A zone that protects us in the paint.
Yes.
So that we can be able to get that ball more off the boards. Is that what you're trying to explain?
Exactly.
Okay, okay. And to the captain of the Junior Silverbacks, how are you prepared now, since now you're going to be graduating to under 18?
Me as a
Yes, you and with your other unit, since you're the captain, you're the one who leads.
Yeah. As soon as we came back, from there we understood what we needed to do. As soon as we came back, we're getting ready for the competition because they're working out as well, so they're getting better. Okay. So we have to work 2 times more than we've ever done in our lives. So as soon as I came back, you work in the morning, you work out in the evening, you rest a lot. We need to focus more on our bodies, and we need to focus more on winning, because we can't win if we're not going to play strong and if we're not going to be hard.
So way back we hosted Linda Wafila, who is the FUBA medical person.
Yeah.
How do you handle your body? Because that is also very important.
Yeah. The coaches and...
Because you've just mentioned handling, working on your bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The coaches advise that we not only focus on working on our muscles and our fitness, but also rest. Because your body needs a lot of rest so that you can have a good mindset, first of all, and so that your body can be prepared to work more next day. So I think we're going to work on our agility and our fitness, but also our muscle and getting size.
Getting size. So does that include eating Rolex?
You can.
Because the diet is also very important in this particular case. Coach Ronnie,
yes,
what diet do you advise the young gentlemen to be having?
At this particular age group, I advise...
because even the people watching out there, the other people who didn't make the cut or who are also playing basketball would also want to know what diet should they be consuming at this particular age so that they can have the proper growth and proper bone structure and strength to get there.
Actually, for Uganda as a country, we are more like a food basket. So there is no food in Uganda that can't help. But of course, more proteins is good, and more fruits. Okay, proteins are good, and as much as they can take them to be good, but fruits also, and of course water. But when I look at Ugandan diet, I don't see any food that is dangerous. A bit of the fast foods, less of them, but I would advise whatever they can get their hands on. Their bodies are very, their metabolic rate is so high at this age, so they can consume anything and it can be digested, and can also help in growth. But the most important is vegetables, proteins, and fruits.
Vegetables, proteins, and fruits. As we're getting to the last segment of the show, speaking to FUBA Vice President in charge of media and publicity, Arnold Katabi, the managers will be having a meeting that is next week concerning league resumption. Remember, there was already a Zoom meeting that happened. I don't know if Coach Ronnie Mutebi, you were able to attend that one.
I attended half of it.
You attended half of it?
Yes.
But according to Mr. Arnold Katabi, the managers have not yet reached a conclusion. So has the FUBA Competitions Committee on league resumption. But hopefully we'll be able to get all that information. How prepared is Falcons?
Well, I'd say as a team, we haven't really practiced in a while. But I know for a fact that guys actually, take time to practice alone. Means putting in your own time, or just, going for a pickup game, going for a run in the morning. As a basketballer, you have to be disciplined. Okay, you can't basically wait for the coach to come and start telling you to run suicides or to go out on the court and shoot, because you won't be playing for Falcons forever. You also have ambitions. Okay, so let's say if my ambition, like you, is to play for City Oil, I can't really wait for Falcons to start practice. Okay, I have to make sure that I keep myself in basketball playing condition. All right, so that when the competition starts, all we have to do as a team is gel together. Basically come together. So as a team, since the lockdown started, Falcons really hasn't had time to practice as a team. But I believe as individuals, we have been practicing. There are a couple of guys in the gym, and I like that we actually had a break. For most people, it looked like, man, this break is really bad. It broke, the course we're having. But on the flip side, when you look at it, it gives you as a player time to reflect on what you did during that first round. Where are my weaknesses? What stuff do I need to work out on? Do I need to get more muscle on my body? Do I need to become a better shooter? So it gave us time also as a team, as Falcons, to think about the different loopholes that we had as a team that we need to plug. And when we come to a consensus of when the league should resume, I believe that we will be prepared, because we are in a situation whereby we have to win the next games that we have to basically qualify for the playoffs. So come league, I believe that Falcons will be ready.
Come league, Falcons will be ready. I hope they do not get relegated. So many fans out there don't want to see that happen. Coach Ronnie Mutebi is very excited also, despite the fact that Warriors did not take part in the league.
He might be waiting for us to get relegated so they can sign some.
Oh, by the way, because the Warriors at the moment don't have players. What is the latest in the Warriors camp? I believe very many viewers want to know, and I actually have some interesting comment here that actually it's a question. It's from a gentleman called Bernard Butare, and he says, are there any vocational skills that you try to impart on these kids, or it is just basketball? I think he's a parent, or he has...
Yes, definitely. So, in terms of national team and the youth trainings, we do try to impart other vocational skills and life skills. But the challenge is always time. Okay, now for example, when we were in Cairo, because that's when we had the most time with them, we tried to help them focus and handle defeat and challenges. And one of the things we did, they can testify, is we took away all the gadgets for the purpose. Yeah, they took away. I know he didn't tell you, but we took away all their phones.
He's going to tell me. He's going to tell me and the viewers about that. It'll be interesting. In this day and age, I can't imagine spending a day without myself.
Exactly. So the reason why we did that was to avoid exposing them to the negativity of social media, because we saw what was happening after just one game. Imagine you have 6 games to go and one game and everyone is bashing you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Most of the comments were not actually friendly at all.
But that's how life is, because at one point you're going to be hit. The question is, do you based on the negativity? So most of them thought they wouldn't make it throughout the whole career experience, but they made it without video games, without cell phones. And surprisingly, the more they did that, the more they enjoyed as a team, the more actually they focused. And that's one of the lessons we try to put on them, that a team comes first. Not me calling my mother, calling my father, my girlfriend, but I start with my team. We're in this together, we fight together and come out of it together. The other thing was maybe also the issue, if you look at us where we're residing in Cairo, we're with the Mali team, who are eventual champions, the ladies and the men. So if you look at them, if you observe them,
tremendous talented group of young lads.
Yeah, if you observe their way of doing things, everything was about team. Before they take breakfast, they call a team meeting. After breakfast, call a team meeting. And what was shocking was the amounts of food they were eating. For us as Uganda, we are pleading to our players to eat. Please eat. Please take a, okay, take a fruit. Mali, the hotel had to come in and say, you guys, you have eaten more than you're supposed to.
You are consuming much more than what
there was even almost a strike in regards to food from the Mali team because they wanted more food.
Because they were all bigger. Yeah. So your body will need more food because you're using more calories.
Exactly. Yeah, but the biggest lesson you can get from basketball that we can always teach is discipline. There's no anything better than that, discipline and commitment. You know, most of these young people have so many things they commit to. They are the peak, or should I say they are the fulcrum of their lives. So they have so many decisions to make, and once you make one decision, you must be committed to it. Whether it's school, whether a career or something, you must commit to it. But also you must be disciplined to chase after it.
To Yuri, how was it being down there? You don't have your cell phone. You're not communicating with your peers, with your friends.
I'm not going out to the mall.
Tell the viewers out there who I would definitely, even me myself, would want to know how it was. No cell phone, no access to internet.
At first, it was very hard. It was very hard being without our phones for a while, and it dawned on some people more than it did on others.
I can imagine the stress. I've just been telling you I can't spend a day without my cell phone.
Yeah. So normally during the times when it's like nighttime, you're going to use your phone before you go to sleep, we'd talk as a team. And we'd joke around, we'd make jokes, everything. And I feel like that built chemistry. So the negatives with taking the phone, because some people feel like they get inspiration. Yeah, they get inspiration from like their parents and stuff, but at the same time there were a lot of more positives from taking our phones, because it let us build ourselves as a team and work together as players and build relationships.
So you picked the positives from from not having the gadgets and not having access to the internet.
Yeah.
Emma, how long can you spend without having a cell phone?
There's a time I actually threw away my cell phone because there's a guy called Eric Thomas. He's a motivational speaker. He says that, why use your cell phone? It's only giving you a bill. You have to buy airtime, you have to buy internet.
But it also, it's giving you information.
Yes,
information is power.
Yes, but see, the time you spend on your phone is the same time you could be using to get better at something, okay? The whole thing of, if I use my phone to get information, I'm not going to take 2 hours trying to get a piece of information. It's going to take me some time. I get that information, move on to the next thing. But if I'm looking at the screen for 4 hours, okay, I know certain teenagers now. Wake up, phone is next to your pillow. Before breakfast, some of them can't even look up from the phone, okay? So there's a time I actually just put away my phone. I said, I need to focus on things. Read a book. Some people don't know what a book looks like.
You can still read the book from your cell phone.
Yeah, but it doesn't give you the same feel as getting a book and actually flipping paper. Phone, I'm just you know. So you need to put that away. And when it comes to a sport like basketball, I know that sometimes we need to watch LeBron doing his thing, but you know, there's more harm than good when you watch the highlights of NBA. They only show you the good things that are happening. They don't show you how many air balls LeBron actually shot. They don't show you how many, you know, shots Steph Curry has to shoot just to get, you know, that amount of shots in an actual game. So sometimes it's just better to put away the phone. Say, if I was using the phone for 4 hours, let me cut it down to 1 hour, take maybe 2 hours on the basketball court, and 1 hour to rest, okay? There you've spent your 4 hours very wisely, okay? Let's say you take another 30 minutes on your video game and all that. So spend time wisely. At this age, especially for the young guys, you have to do everything you can to be better. There are certain things we at this age can't start doing now. Our time passed, all right?
Yeah.
So for them, get off the phone, get to working, which I think is better for them, yeah.
To Yuri, someone here called Wilder is asking a question. What was different about the other teams that Team Uganda did not do?
Well, they played as a team.
Okay.
We played as a team, but we didn't play wholeheartedly. Some people
try to break that down for the viewers out there.
For example, if you're in the situation where there's a pass out here, and you have 8 points, and you say you want to get to 10 points, people on the team would rather focus on their 10 points
instead of the 10 points.
Yeah, instead of dishing the ball out, you know, you get the extra 3 points as a team. We were thinking individually at first, instead of working together, and most teams were thinking differently. Like if you saw the stats, the teams that had the highest scorers were normally the ones who lost. The teams that had one person scoring the most. And then Egypt and Mali had all round the same points.
People sharing the points.
Yeah.
So they didn't have like an outright person that you'd go out and say, in this team, when you block out player number this and this, then you have at least an advantage.
Exactly.
So everyone was a threat on the floor.
Everyone.
To Coach Ronnie, how do we endeavor to also be like those teams? So that from the unit that you actually finally zero down on, everyone is a threat.
I think it goes to my first point of emphasis are the coaches who handle these kids. It's not only Coach Ron who trains these kids. These kids come from different coaching hands, and each coach has their own philosophy and perspective.
Okay.
But we need to unify as a coaching body. Okay, and that's one thing I think the federation has to work towards too. I can take the lead, but I can't access every coach in Uganda. But we need to work together as a coaching unit and know that, okay, this is our emphasis, this is our goal. Some coaches are working with kids, but even themselves need help. Okay, so they don't even know the small basics they need to teach, which is fine because their heart is there. But we need to get as much training to the coaches as possible so that they know exactly what to base on. Secondly, I think we need to give the coaches also exposure. It always goes back to the coaches who handle these kids. The kids are available, the kids are willing, but they are going through the different hands. Some hands are right, some hands are wrong. But if every coach knew and had the heart for what they're doing, and they are committed to it, we would have the results. It doesn't matter how far they are.
We would get the results. We were having a brief discussion with Emma just the previous week. When you look at the Egypt program, they don't just allow anyone to actually start a basketball academy or even a football academy. However, we have so many mushrooming academies. What can be done to ensure that we try to professionalize the basketball academies that are already mushrooming at the moment?
I'm actually for them to come up for now, given the conditions we have. Egypt can afford to pay every coach in their country. Actually, every coach is on the payroll by the government. Uganda can't afford that. So if we are lucky enough to have mushrooming academies and coaches, that's our advantage actually. But what I would think is the person in charge of the youth basketball in Uganda should identify the top youth coaches that are around the country, and then we do more refresher camps, especially when national team is camping, the senior national team. Because if I know what George Genapolis is working on, or Mande Jirun is working on, as regards to the seniors or selection of the seniors. I also know what the under 18s are working on. Then if I'm having a 12-year-old, I need to have that perspective, because that's the whole goal. Yeah, so for now, given the circumstances we're under, I wouldn't discourage the mushrooming camps and academies. I would actually support them.
There's a school of thought that thinks differently. That when these young people are enrolled into these academies, they meet their trainers and not coaches, and most of them don't get that ample time to actually work with the children and the young kids. You'll find someone brings their son or daughter to one academy, and they're going to be there, let's say, for about an hour or 2 hours. What about that school of thought?
Of course, that is also inevitable at one point, because if I have my son and he's playing, or my daughter, I need time. But it goes back to the professionalism. Why are we there in the first place? I mean, if you look at some of the NBA coaches, let me look at Doc Rivers. At one point, he coached his son, but you could see that there was nothing like father-son. It was coach-player.
He first benched him.
Exactly. And there was no remorse.
Quite a number of stories on Bleacher Sport, I remember, concerning the fact that he was benching his son.
Yeah, and there's no remorse, because if you look at it in terms of what do I need to do as a coach, not as a father, then you'll be pushing your son towards that. And the son or the daughter will rub you off from that. But if I want to treat you differently because you're my child, then it's not going to help you, it's not going to help me.
Yuri, to get this passion into the sport of basketball, are you enrolled in any basketball academy, or it was just passion and the fact that at your school there's a basketball court and you picked interest?
Yeah, I started playing basketball in GEM Cambridge, Kampala, but I wasn't really passionate about it until I reached BSK. I have a coach, Coach
Eric Malinga?
Mato. He taught me that basketball is not only about playing. It's about relationships, it's about everything in life.
Yes.
So I started to understand that basketball is life. So if you're going to play basketball, you have to play it with everything you have.
You have to give it your all.
So yeah, I started playing at BSK, and I started playing seriously. I started playing with an academy, and during the first lockdown, I think I was doing private basketball lessons with Martin, my friend, and Coach Eric. And I think that's when it really started to dawn on me that I have to get
really serious about this particular sport.
Yeah.
As we wind up, your last word to the viewers out there who have been watching, and those following us on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, on our website, your last word to them.
Hard work is always the way.
Hard work is always the way.
If you think you've gotten there and there's a better area for you to be in, you've not yet gotten there. You have to work harder until you're at the highest place you can be in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coach Ronnie, your last word to our viewers out there.
Mine is more to do with vision and dreams. If you have a vision and you have dreams, then you have to strive to achieve them. But also, that's the young people who aspire to make it in sports. They doesn't matter if it's basketball or anything, but vision of where you want to be in the years to come. But also to the parents and the stakeholders, I want to thank them, because it's not easy that someone sacrificed, especially during this COVID, someone sacrificed for you to just go and take a trip somewhere, just to have an experience. So I want to thank them. I know this is an opportunity for me to thank them, and I encourage them to continue supporting whoever is there. Yeah.
Emma, last word to the viewers and your prediction come our opening game, the Silverbacks.
Yeah, my last word to the people out there, basically, we need to improve basketball in Uganda, and we have talked about different ways of doing it. But I think also for improving on the coaches and the players, we need a mentorship program, where we can have the national teams actually mentor each other. We can also have the senior coaches mentor other coaches, which I think would be a very good thing for us, something the federation can look into, something that we can also look into. And for AfroBasket, I'm Team Uganda. You know, whatever happens, I know our first game we have to win the game.
Definitely, because if we start slow, then it's going to be quite a hard tussle to get out there. And remember, we don't want to go into the mathematics of best loser to go as number 3 from the group. We have to make the final 2 slots. To the fans out there, the Silverbacks need the 6th man. There is an offer for $1,045. That includes flight to and fro to Kigali, plus accommodation for the 10 days that the tournament will be going on. You can go with your national ID to the FUBA offices, get registered, go down there, support the Silverbacks. Thank you so much. That's been Slam Dunk Basketball. Felix Opal is my name. Catch you next time.
We're excited to be here. It's an opportunity for us to play the best teams in Africa for the 3rd time in a row, and we are ready to go. Because it's the 3rd in a row, we've learned our lessons in the last one and the one before that. We like our chances, we like the team that we have, and we would like to make our country proud. There's 14 of us today, another 10 coming in by the end of the day, and after that we should have a chance to play if we can agree with Rwanda on how to do it.
People at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
Hello, welcome to this edition of You and the Law. My name is Jonathan Ochom, your host. You and the Law is simply what it is, you and the law. In this show, we try to demystify the law for the ordinary person, make it simple for a teacher, for a lawyer, for a farmer, for a doctor, for a border rider, for a cleaner, everyone in our society. This program touches on every aspect of our lives that relate to the law. Is it marriage? Is it property? Is it land? Is it traffic? Anything that touches on the law will be discussed in this program. Today, we're going to have an interesting conversation that will focus on the institution of marriage. I know most of us have attended marriage functions. Some of us are married. Most of us viewers are married. But what does it mean to be married? How does the law look at marriage? So this conversation today will focus on demystifying the whole topic around marriage and how it is viewed from the eyes of the law. And to help us do this, I have a learned mind with me, and it's none other than my friend, my colleague, Emmanuel Elau. Emma, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Hello, viewers. Thank you for having me on the show.
In House of Talent, when you fist bump, you spread the love. So you do this, then you spread the love. Yeah, so Emma, how have you been?
Well, I've been great.
Yeah, we're coming in from 42 days of a lockdown. How has it been on your end?
It's been quite difficult. You know, you wake up in the morning, you sit around the compound, you look at the time. You know, you lose sense of the calendar because you fail to understand which is a Monday and which is a Sunday.
You're even lucky that you have a compound. Some people live in one-bedroom houses and have nothing to look except their, iron sheets.
Yeah, sure.
And really, you're our first guest really on this program. And why do you think it's sort of important for people to just know about the law? Because I know you've been teaching law and practicing law for all these years. Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you. You know, when it comes to the law, we basically live the law, you know, on a day-to-day basis, you know. Whether it is in your bedroom, there is a law that governs it. If you're married, for example, even if you're single, there could be something touching on the law because you might be in your bedroom with an underage girl or you might be with another person's wife. You know, all the things are the law, you know. When you jump on a border, there is law. When you're driving, we're talking about traffic. You know, if you go to a restaurant, you must ensure that you have the money because you're consuming someone's energy and investment. You know, so you must be able to pay for that. So we interact with the law at all times.
It's part of our everyday life.
Yes.
Man, you don't want to be in trouble after many years of working hard only to realize that you have no rights at all simply because you didn't celebrate any of the marriages that are recognized within the laws of Uganda. With that, we come to the end of this edition of You and the Law. It's a bye from us. See you next time.
It is a CO bench on a Friday here in Kampala, straight out of the capital city of Uganda to the rest of the world, is when we bring you the CEOs who are on the rise, or those who are already on the top, or those who are leaving the hot seat, coming down. What's next for a leader is what the CO bench is all about. And of course, this week in the studio, my guest needs no introduction. He's a man who has done it. is a man who has been on the journey. The man on top, Elijah Chitaka. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
They say we are supposed to bonga, but also now they are saying we can't do this because of COVID-19.
Right.
But welcome to the program. How are you doing?
I am good. I'm good. I'm busy.
Okay.
It's such a busy time.
Okay.
I think it's very busy for technologists. I guess that's the upside of the pandemic,
Yes.
if there is such a thing.
Yes.
It's kind of placed technologists in a very unique position at this time. I think that a lot of the technologists are like me. They're as busy as we are, and we're not complaining.
Yes.
It's a good relief.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting thing because some of us are struggling to find what to do. And some of us are now questioning, did I make the right decision when I was in school? Did I study the right thing? Or should I go back and study technology so I can be relevant for the time? And all of these things are going on in people's minds. And so many people seem to think that it's only doom and gloom.
Yeah.
There's nothing light about it. But you're saying you're very busy. And which is a very interesting part of the discussion. But welcome to the program. Elijah, the CEO Bench exists to bring the life of those who are on the journey to the forefront. And of course, when somebody makes it to the CEO, part of their life is always about talking about that company, that company, that company. My entire experience with the CEOs that I've met in the time that I've lived, none of them get to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
They never know the story about themselves. They get lost in the process of leading us or leading the organization and making things happen, to the point that by the time they realize where they are, it's way too late. Some of them start to wonder whether they were in the right place, they did the right thing, or they made the wrong decision.
Yeah.
So we decided that the CEO Bench will be that platform that gives opportunity to people to actually speak about themselves. So you're on the show today to speak about Elijah Chitaka.
That's new.
Yes, and
For a change.
yes, because you're always speaking about FESA, you always talk about the organization that you've worked for before, and many of them. I was reading one of your interviews and listening to them, and you're talking about Google, you're talking about Barclays Bank, you're talking about the journey is about other people, places, but not about Elijah Chitaka. So we want to start from a very lighter note.
Okay.
Who is Elijah Chitaka?
I'm Ugandan, first of all. I think that's important to clarify. A lot of people get confused for whatever reason. I think it used to be worse when I had, when I was young and I had dreadlocks.
Yes.
And I was still traveling around Africa quite often. and people always assumed I wasn't Ugandan. But I'm Ugandan. I was born and raised here. I studied here. I'm a computer science grad from a famous school, computer science at Makerere University. I consider myself a music enthusiast. I call myself a music industry entrepreneur. I've started many companies that target musicians because I believe that's my who. That's who I'm here to serve, in this world to serve. But I've also done many things in music. I've been on radio for 16 years. Long as that sounds, I've been on Radio 1 for a very long time. I've been involved in the world of jazz for equally a long time. So mostly I revolve around family, music, and technology. So today you said I shouldn't talk too much about my day job as a technology executive, but that's my other life. I can't quite split that from myself because the line between work and life is now more blurred than ever. But for many technologists, it's always been. So it's just, that's the package of who you become.
Yes.
It's what you do, what you believe, and who you serve. Okay. I think that's the total of who you become.
True.
Yeah.
I think I like the preamble, and one of my next question to get pretty much into knowing who you are, Elijah, if you were to take us to a story of your journey from childhood to where you are right now, did you ever see yourself becoming who you are today? And what was the journey like, or what has been the journey like to this moment?
Did I ever see? I can't say I ever saw, but I'm also not shocked. And I'm not sounding arrogant or anything.
Yeah.
I think that I've been lucky to have a few people around me that have really believed in me a lot from a very early stage. And those people caused me to believe in myself. You know how you meet someone and they believe strongly in you. You're convinced this must be true.
Yes.
So one of those people is my brother. My brother is called Patrick Mukalazi. And fortunately or unfortunately, he relocated to the UK. But he was very instrumental in forming who I've become.
Yeah.
And to me, I credit him as the first person that really had strong convictions about my path and what I should be doing. And he was really convinced that I was meant to be in entrepreneurship. I was meant to start companies, and I was meant to figure out, what we call 0 to 1, figure out spaces that hadn't been figured out.
Yeah.
So much so that he started me off with my very first computer and $300 to start my first company back in the 90s.
Yeah.
So when you talk about my journey and did I see myself here, because of such people, I'm not surprised. Most of these are much older than me. So they must have seen something. So they kind of guided, either consciously or unconsciously, they guided who I became. And so it wasn't a big shock, that this is where I ended up. And then on the music side, I grew up in church. My mom is a big church person. And so church is synonymous with music.
Yeah.
A lot of great singers globally, and even here come from church. A lot of them have a church background. So I've always been exposed to live music from a very young age. In church, started playing piano as a child. I played the guitar. My mom took me for saxophone lessons at 12. So I'm also not shocked that I'm into music, because that was kind of built into me, at a very early age. And exposure is really important for formation, and what you expose, individuals to at that early stage, I think can stick. Lucky for me, I think it stuck on the right path. So I don't have major regrets.
Okay. It is said that what is modeled before people has got to do a lot with what is molded in people when they're growing up. And you rightly put that together. So growing up, Elijah, what did you want it to be in life?
What did I want to be in life? I wanted to be impactful. That's the honest truth.
Yes.
I don't think I can say I wanted to be a doctor. Yes. I wanted to be a pilot. Not really.
Yes.
I think that the people I admired all were very innovative people that were bold enough to start, to start executing on new ideas. And that's what I was attracted to from a very early stage, when I started figuring out, what do people do with their lives as they grow up. I never quite thought I would be, a corporate executive, and in fact I haven't really. I consider my corporate stints missions or assignments, and I consider entrepreneurship my home. So I think that's what I wanted to be, and lucky for me, that's what I've become. That's still what I want to be. Now, that's what I want to be. I want to be someone that is bold enough to see new spaces and be able to take that first step if no one has taken that step.
Wow.
I guess that makes sense.
Well, I guess those who nominated you, Mr. Chitaka, knew exactly what they were looking for.
Okay.
And I'm seeing some very interesting comments here on WhatsApp, and people sending comments here on WhatsApp. So Elijah Chitaka is here. Elijah Chitaka is the CEO and the co-founder of Phaser. Phaser is a technology company, an entertainment company, to say the least. Born out of Uganda, I think 4 or 5 years now.
5 years now.
Living, and it's said that when a company goes beyond 4 years, crossing to 5, chances of them succeeding are very high and staying alive very high, because the world said, or says, that Uganda is the most entrepreneurial country in the world.
Yeah.
But also the rate at which our companies don't see the first birthdays are very high.
True.
And so Harvard University and I think Virgin studied quite a bit to try and understand why this doesn't happen. And I think they zeroed down to say they still didn't have an answer to why our entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial, businesses failed in their stage. But you are 5 years into this thing, Mr. Elijah. I wanted to ask you a question. What are you looking for in life?
Okay, so let me first try and unpack the high failure rate.
Yes.
So at the very sort of theoretical level, but which also plays out into the actual world, there is the famous traditional, factors of production.
Yes.
So there is a big lack of capital, and capital is important if companies are to survive and grow. There is a big lack of, I won't say labor, because labor is very retrospective. So you're looking really at contemporary skill sets. I would almost say like future-ready skill sets. That's low in supply. Good talent is
in Uganda.
Across the board, actually, but Uganda as well. It's very hard to make good hires and to keep good hires because they're few and many people are after them, and most of them might be bigger than your budget. So talent is really important. I think the other factor I see is commitment and resilience. Entrepreneurship is hard. Starting companies is hard business. I've started 3 companies. My first company was, back in the early 2000s, True African. When companies succeed, it looks like they manage to do it overnight. But the truth is that there is a long journey, that they went through when you didn't know about them, when they didn't matter. And a lot of people don't make it through that season. It's really, really tough. It's been the same every time I've started companies. It was the same with True African. And when True African became successful, most people thought, oh, this was an overnight success, but well, literally at the brink of bankruptcy. That company was about to close before we raised money, before we met, the people that invested into True African, and then gave it a new lease on life. So that resilience, most people don't have. And so you don't make it out of that cycle because it's rough. And Feza has been the same. Feza has been rough for the first, couple of years until we found product market fit. So I think those are really important. And if you trace back why they're failing, you'll find that that's one of those things is playing a big role. What do I look for in life? I look for peace. I usually say that I'm not young anymore. I've been around for a long time. I mean, I've been in industry for over 20 years. And the more you grow, the more you realize like peace of mind is really important. And I look for that. So I'm very deliberate on what I introduce into my environment and the bearing it has on my state of mind. Because if you don't have peace in your mind, you can't focus. And without clarity, without focus, you can't move. You can't move forward. So I look for peace. That's really important to me. I don't really look for success, whatever definition that is. I think success is just a result of what you do. It's not something you go looking for. I think it should just manifest itself if you focus on the right things. So I don't look for it. Mostly peace, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. Mr. Chitaka, I like the train of thoughts. I'm a leadership coach. Spent 12 years understanding what they call or studying what they call human kinetics. It's a mix of so many things: science, prescription, science and curative science versus preventive science and medicine. And along the way, I have discovered so many things that people miss in life. One of them being, I never find people who are looking for peace of mind. They say it will come after I'm successful. And in my studies of human health and fitness, I realized that without peace of mind, that human being can never be successful. Without peace of mind, that human being can never be very productive, and its marginal productivity of that human being, if we put it that way, can never be realized. but yet it is something that people miss.
Yeah.
Here you are saying that you look for peace of mind in everything you do, not really success. Success would come when you attain that.
Yeah.
Because we know that the strength of the factor of production that will give success is if Elijah is fit and healthy. I want to take you to this question, Elijah. And something that is, I would say, what is the best thing that has ever happened to you through the years as Elijah?
Wow, like one thing.
Yes.
If it's one thing.
Yes, or even two, you can give us.
Yeah, I think
one thing that when you look at, says, man, that was it. That was a turning point for me. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. Of course, there are many things that have happened to you along the years. Yeah.
Okay, so if I was to package it as one, I mean that's difficult because first of all I'm a spiritual person.
Yes.
So then naturally I would say, you know, my understanding of the promise of God and how to invoke it. But I don't think that's what you're looking for.
No,
so let me give you a second.